Hello friends, welcome back to InspireWorks. In this AWS tutorial, we are going to learn how to call API endpoints to start and stop your EC2 instance. So right now, this is my free tier account, and in this account, there are two EC2 instances. One is Jenkins server and second one is the app server. These two instances are in stop state and these are T2 micro instance. So I would like to have a control on my this EC2 instance, and I would like to start and stop this EC2 instance only when I need it. So how I can do it? I don't want to log on to the console and start and stop it manually. I would like to have the endpoints. Through those endpoints, I would like to start and stop this EC2 instance whenever required. So what is the way to do it? So I find a way through the API call. I can start and stop this EC2 instance in any point of time. So let's check out this. Let's go ahead and check out the Lambda function. I have wrote some Lambda function. I have made the integration with the API gateway, and through that API gateway endpoint, I can start and stop EC2 instance. So here you can see I'm in the Lambda function. Here is the stop EC2 by tag, start and stop EC2 instance, API authorizer. So let's go ahead and check out this start stop EC2. Here is the overall integration of this API gateway with the Lambda function, and it is ultimately calling the Amazon SNS topic. So whenever I call the API endpoint, it will trigger the Lambda function, and this Lambda function will trigger the SNS topic notification, and it will give me the state of start or stop of EC2 instance on my mail ID. So let's check the API gateway configuration. So this is the trigger, API gateway trigger, my first API, and this is the API endpoint. And if you look at the detail, API gateway type HTTP, authorizer none, ports none, resource path start stop EC2, service principal API gateway dot Amazon AWS.com, stage is default, and this is the statement ID. So what exactly is happening whenever I call this endpoint? This endpoint will call the Lambda function. So whatever is written in the Lambda function, it will perform that job, and once this job get completed, it will send the signal to this SNS topic, from where I will receive the notification on my mail ID. So right now it is topic is created as EC2 start. So let's check the Lambda function. What is written in the Lambda function? So I'm using Boto3 client over here, and here you can see def lambda handler event context EC2 stop instance ID is equal to instance. So where I have defined this instance, so here is the instance, these are the instance IDs, and once this lambda function will trigger, this will look for these instance IDs and stop this instance. Let's check the current status of our EC2 instance. Currently both our EC2 instance is in stop state, so let's start both of these. Start the instance. It's processing right now. Now both our EC2 instances are in running state, status check 2 by 2. Let's check if we are going to trigger this API gateway, what is going to happen with this running EC2 instance. So simply click on this endpoint. So I'm going to click on this endpoint. It is null. So it has been triggered. And as you can see, both of these EC2 instances are now going shut down, going to be stopped. So this is the way through which we can make a call to API gateway. API gateway will trigger this Lambda function, and whatever is written in the Lambda function will get executed, and our job will get done. Along with that, I will receive a notification on my this SNS topic that either EC2 instance have been start or stop. So this is the trick through which we can control our EC2 instance start and stop without coming to the console, without logging to the AWS console. So this is currently one Lambda function which is performing stop instances. So if I would like to go ahead and start the instance, I just need to write here start and deploy. So it has been deployed. Now if I'm going to call same API gateway, it will perform start of EC2 instance rather than stop. Let's check current status of our EC2 instance. Both are in stop state. So let's execute this API gateway endpoint. So it has been executed successfully, and let's check the status of our EC2 instances. So it's pending. So it's starting initializing EC2 instances, and very soon it will come up. It will be in running state. One got up, one is in running state, initializing. Both are seems to be in running state. Both are initializing, and very soon we will have 2x2 check pass. So we have this is the one API gateway endpoint through which we can start and stop EC2 instance. What if I would like to have the separate API gateway? One is for start and one is for stop EC2 instances. So simply I need to go to our configuration of this Lambda, and I need to create another Lambda function where I have to simply copy this code and just put stop here, and we will have a separate Lambda function, and we can go ahead and create a separate API gateway, integrate it with this SNS topic. Simply copy this code and let's go ahead and create the Lambda function. Create a Lambda function, stop EC2 instances. I would like to use Python, and just leave it everything as it is. And you can also select use existing role if you have already created. So I have already created Lambda role for EC2 instance. You can select it from there. I can select this EC2 role, or you can go ahead and select the first one, create a new role with basic Lambda function permission, and just create Lambda function. And in this Lambda function, what you need to do, just replace this code with your copied code and just change it over here, put. So just save it, my first test. Now once you have write the code over here, you need to deploy it. So before that, I'm going to create the API gateway, API endpoint. So create API endpoint. I would like to create HTTP API with low latency and cross effective REST API with built-in features such as OIDC and auto or native core support. So I'm going to use this so that I can integrate it with the Lambda function. Here you need to select integration mechanism, and I would like to select Lambda. I have the default region AP South. My instance are in AP South. Then I need to select which one. We have the start, stop, and we have the stop. So this one is our main API gateway, is the stop EC2 instances. Next, let it be default. Let it be default. Here are few things which we need to take care. What method you are going to use? I'm going to use any. I'm not going to get post, put, or any other. I'm just going to use any method through which I can route this API endpoint to the resource path, and the integration target is stop EC2 instance, which is the Lambda function, and then click on next, and we do have the stage. You can give the name of this stage. I would like to have it as default. Then click on next, and here is the whole soul of this integration. Create this, and now this has been created, and we do have a separate endpoint. So this is the invoke URL. I would like to have it on notepad. So this is for stop ec2 instances. Now let's go ahead and check out our Lambda function. So this is our Lambda function get integrated with the API gateway, calling the Lambda function, but we have not integrated any destination. So I would like to have the integration on success SNS topic ec2 start, or I can create a separate ec2 stop topic, put it over here and save it. Now you can see overall integration of this API gateway with the Lambda function, and this is going to Amazon SNS topic, which will trigger the notification. So on success, it will trigger this SNS topic. So once again, let's go ahead and check the API endpoint. So this is the API endpoint for stop ec2 instance, and this is the Lambda function. This is our code stop instances, and this is the SNS topic. So let's go ahead and execute the endpoint of this API gateway. So right now we would like to have the status check. Both our ec2 instance are in running state. Let's refresh and check it once again. So both are running. Let's execute this stop ec2 instance API endpoint and see what is going to happen. Hello from Lambda. Okay, and let's check. Nothing is happening, so we have did something wrong, and we do have the integration. Let me check where we have made the mistake. We need to go to Lambda and check what is inside this Lambda. Stop ec2 instances, and we have right. Okay, so we have not deployed this Lambda, so by default it is executing the default script, so we need to deploy it. Right now it got successfully deployed. Let's go ahead and again check the status of ec2 instances. So both are in running state. Now let's go ahead and execute this API endpoint and see what is going to happen now. So now we have the null, and hopefully it got executed. So no resource are in running state, and if we are going to check all status of the resource, we will find that our ec2 instance are finally going to shut down, going to be stopped. So this is a cool idea, cool mechanism to control your free trial account resources through the API endpoint. We do have one endpoint to stop the ec2 instance, and we do have the other API endpoint to start our ec2 instance. So this is for start ec2. Now these are the endpoints through which I can control my ec2 resources or any resources to start and stop it whenever I need. So I can prevent my free tier account to get me charged if I'm not utilizing it. I can stop the resources and shut it down whenever there is no need to work on the free tier account resources. So let's try this out at your end. Let me know if you are able to successfully deploy it, and if you do have any question, you can put it into the comment section.